recording. Maybe we're recording.
Awesome.
Say a few words.
Hey everyone. This is part of the Instagram workshop. And Joe is going to show you an amazing Instagram post.
There you have it, folks.
Lucky bastard.
He's lucky SOBs. Sweet. So, what
We'll
we're going
cut that out. Start again.
baby. These are all precious moments. We want to capture all of the good times. Kids need to know. So,
Oh my God.
based on that, my love.
Yeah.
What we want to do is jazz this bad boy up. I can't even use bad boy anymore. It's like everything is so pronoun neutral. So I need to jazz this. I gotta jazz it up. Let's jazz it up, people. That's what we want to do. I can make this thing. I want to jazzerize.
We're going to jazzerize it.
I'm gonna jazzerize it. Woo, everybody! So first thing we want to do is apply some fonts. Make it really sleek with some cool, stylish fonts. That's what I'm feeling. My fonts would do the thing right now, at least in this video. So in our previous video, we applied some font families, some default font families. This one's font family of cursive that applied to the paragraphs, which you could clearly see. Turn them more into as closer to handwriting-esque. And we applied font family of sans to the larger text, right? Both of which don't really meet the design specs. We want something a bit more flary, something with flair.
Is that a word?
Flairize it. That's a word. I just made it up and it's gonna happen. So what we want to do is we want to go to Google Fonts. Google Fonts, my friend. So just went to fonts.google.com. You can just Google Fonts.
You're the Bob Ross of coding.
Yeah, I know.
Google Fonts, my friends.
There's a little tree that I'm going to place right here. It's a happy tree with a little squirrel. All right. So when we go to Google Fonts, if you've never been there, there's a lot going on. Besides the fonts here that are just kind of like bam in your face, there's some other settings that we can use to our advantage while searching for fonts. Now, the first thing that I want to do when I'm searching for fonts is kind of put in the text to see how that particular specific text would look. So in type something, I'm just going to say smile. When I do smile, I'm really trying to match this particular word here. And, you know, sometimes something pops out. Like, what pops out? Nothing really pops out. Second thing is I'm going to try to get the size of the font. Now, we set that to be 40 pixels, so it's about 40, right? Wait for it. There. So that's going to be the size of our font. And we want something that is a little bit more kind of flary, more handwritten, right? So you can browse around all these fonts like this. You could do this all day. There's hundreds of fonts. This one looks kind of gloomy, Halloween-esque.
Not going for that.
We're not gloomy is so not what this thing is about. Don't be gloomy, people. So we're going to go here. I'm going to change the categories. So if I go to categories, these are, when we were covering fonts in the last video, we discovered that they were specific font families, correct?
Correct.
Is that correct? You agree with that statement?
I agree.
She's on board, everybody. Love it. Love it. Only I could get her to agree on everything else that comes out of my mouth. This relationship would be perfect. Perfect, I tell you. It's a lot of work, people. So I'm going to choose more of a handwritten font. Of course, I've already found the font I want to use. I mean, come on, people, you already know that. So I'm going to kind of filter out some of these fonts. So I'm going to get rid of serif. See, some serif fonts are gone. Some sans serif, they're gone. Oh, this is kind of wacky. Look at that. All right, sidetracked. Stay on track, Joe. Display type fonts. And I'm going to get rid of this monospace too. Bloop. And
What's monospace?
monospace is just a type of font family.
Ah.
So if we had covered it, maybe we'll make a note in the previous video, we took a look at a diagram of some of those font families and what meaning they tend to convey. It is interesting. You were there. So interesting. I think at the time you were even like, that's interesting. I could be wrong, but I think you
No, I don't divert though.
No, my baby keeps me on track. So I'm going to get rid of monospace. Oh my God, this thing is still there. So now that I have it, I'm looking for specific fonts that I want to use. Now I'm going to go over here, and the one I'm looking for, or the one that, you know, we as a couple had decided to use is, what is the one we decided to use? Mountains of Christmas. That just sounds so much fun. So I'm looking for Mountains of Christmas. I don't necessarily see Mountains of Christmas here. So maybe I chose the wrong one. I'm gonna choose this. Mountains. Oh, see, so Mountains of Christmas is not a handwritten font. Could be handwritten, but I think it's definitely a sans serif. All right. Is it a display font? Mountains of Christmas. All right, so Mountains of Christmas is a display type font. And if we, if I was able to kind of get these two aligned up, you would see like this looks just like this font, right? This font looks a bit what? What does it look like? It kind of bolder. It has more, you know it, baby, say it. What does it have? Has more weight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's on board, people.
I have my contacts, so I can't.
All right. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. So it has more font weight. So I want to just do the comparison. Oh, looks pretty good, right? And so I'm going to choose said font. I click select this font. Bloop. When you click on that, this little box down here opens up. And so you can see that you have these selected fonts. If I click on it, it opens up and I can see the bloops and the bleeps. Get used to it, people. We could take a look at the font or fonts that we've selected. So far we've only selected one. And we have the ability to customize that font. So here I only chose bold because I had changed it from regular to bold. So it's making the assumption that that's probably the font that I want or the font weight. But for the sake of learning about Google Fonts or fonts in general, I'm going to choose regular as well. Perhaps maybe we want to go back and forth at a later point in time. I'm going to choose that. Awesome. I'm going to close this. Bloop. And I'm going to look for the other font. So that was our Mountains of Christmas. And now I'm going to look for something that's more like
a cozy.
It does. Mountains of Christmas sounds like, what does that sound like? I don't know.
A cabin.
That's exactly. It sounds like a fairy tale. Oh, the Mountains of Christmas story. Little boys and girls around the fireplace. Right? And then there's dancing, drinking hot cocoa with their little leprechaun friends. And then there's the next font, baby. Sidetrack. The next font is Dancing Script. And Dancing Script sounds pretty fun too, right? Dancing Script, I'm going to go back to Google Fonts, and Dancing Script is, once again, if I was to just, I know what we're looking for now, so I'm going to follow the same process. So the process is, what are the words that you want to match fonts or apply fonts to? So I'm going to say more than you cry, right? So I always believe you should smile more than you cry.
Always.
Right?
And if you cry, let it be happy tears.
And tears of happiness, people. Tears. Los lágrimas de contedad. That's not it, but I'll work on it for the next video. And so now I'm going to search for that particular font. Now I know that the font that I'm looking for is a handwritten font, so I'm going to choose handwriting. And I know it's Dancing Script. I know it's this particular one. Okay, but instead of like just going to, you know, Dancing Script, I want you to see the other types of handwritten fonts, because maybe we might find one that's more appealing. We can change these things at any point in time. So Dancing Script is what I was looking for, and if I put them next to each other, it look pretty good. More Than You Can Cry. I like that. That is pretty nice. This one also looks pretty cool too. What else we got? This More Than You Can. This one looks kind of wild.
But we know what we're looking for.
So based on the knowing what we should be doing and stop doing the other things, Joe, that's her cue. And we love it. Thank you, baby. Keep me on track. I'm going to click on this plus side. And I go back here, and now I see Dancing Script has been added alongside the Pleasant Mountains of Christmas. And so I'm going to click on, oh, we are already in Customize. And I can see Dancing Script, that because I didn't change the font weights, it left it at the kind of default regular 400. But I want it to be a thicker font. So I'm going to choose.
Or at least you want the option.
I'd like the options.
Yeah, we like options.
Options are good. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to apply it here so we can actually see what that would look like. Because once again, right, that looks pretty good. I like it. Give it bold. Give more weight. Might even make these fonts a little bigger too. I wanted the words to be overpowering, and then the little saying just to be a subtle whisper,
Yeah.
right?
Of wisdom.
Of wisdom. Oh, that is awesome. I'm going to go back here. I am now going to click on the embed. I'm going to embed them. I'm going to get embed with them. How does that sound? Not really. Does sound sexy. Now what we're doing, and we are going to choose, there's two different ways that you can import these fonts. There's link tags. If you know a little bit about HTML and CSS, then you would know link tags are placed in the head of the HTML documents, and they're used to import CSS and styles. We are just kind of living in the CSS world right now, so I'm going to click on import. When you import, also, these style tags indicate that they would be included in the HTML, but we are going to just copy everything from add import to the semicolon. Just that. Just do that, my peeps. Once you do that, you copied it, we're going to go back to our post, and in here, line 28, I'm going to follow the directions that says paste the at import with the Google font link below. Even I can't mess that one up. Trust me.
Can't divert from that.
And I can mess stuff up. I don't know what happened here. Something's wrong with CodePen. All right. So now that we've done that, I'm going to move on to applying the fonts. Okay. So first thing I'm going to apply, I could apply it to the paragraph first. I'm going to apply it to the span because I want to see the big word really like pop. I'm going to flip these around. Step 2 should be step 3. It doesn't matter what step, but let's do it. So I'm going to change this from Sans to Mountains of Christmas. I'm going to save it. My CodePen's acting up. I got to close all my CodePens and reopen them. And what we can see is it's been changed. Okay. Now the font weights, when we were importing our fonts, these numbers here, and I'll go to, they mean the same for both fonts, but for Mountains of Curses, we imported a regular and a bold. So font weights are translated into these numerical values, right? So here it's set to 600. Now I want it to be 700. If I change it, nothing really happens here. Different browsers interpret these in different ways. I'm going to leave it at the value that was assigned by Google Fonts in case it's used somewhere else. We'll know that that should take effect versus 600 may not take effect on another browser. I don't know. But if we wanted to see, you know, oh, Jesus, every time this thing does this, I got to do this now. So that's that. We're going to move on to Dancing Script. And so Dancing Script is this paragraph text, and we're going to say, hey, no more cursive, but we want Dancing Script. I'm going to save it, refresh it, and now, like magic,
Ta-da!
ta-da! And what are we going to do? So the font weight is already 400, so that is what we were looking for earlier, but I want to change this. I need to change this to be font weight of 700, because what do we want to do? We want to change the font weight to 700. So there, it looks a little bolder now, right? Bolderized it, looks good. So they're both at 7 at bold. Going back to Google Fonts, you may at times want to choose fonts that have a greater font thickness. Okay, so we could go over here and say the number of styles. If we just say, oh, now say you wanted something that had a variance of styles, maybe 4+ styles. Well, all of a sudden, our Dancing Script is gone because it only had 2 styles. But if you wanted something that had a variety of styles, we could go here and say, hey, oh, wow, look at this. Semi-bold, bold, extra bold. Oh, that's nice. Maybe we could use that. Or medium, right? So we could see what these look like when we change. That's really bold. Wow, that took like a huge jump, right?
Smacking in the face bold.
That is smacking you in the face, bold. I love it. You're the best sidekick ever.
He's sidekick.
Yeah, well, you're the love of my life sidekick. It's like,
Right.
yeah, come on, you're on board with
like
that. All right. There's also things like, yeah, I like that. There's also things like italic too. So you may want something like, kind of looks like, oh, let's take apply. Right. I'm going to apply that. And so italic means it's just kind of tilted over to the side just a little bit, which this text actually looks like it is italic, right? Looks like it was pushed to the side a little bit. There's italic. Does this one have italic? This one doesn't have italic. This one, let's see. I want to see what regular 400. Oh yeah, you see how it's straight up? And the minute you do 400 italic, it's a little bit tilted to the side. Yeah. So once again, looking at these fonts, you can clearly find varying fonts that match your design. We've found the font, I believe.
Found the one.
We found the ones, plural. And
It's only one.
yeah, but there's 1 times 2, and that's ones. Last time I checked. I don't know. So, so just to recap, what do we do? Baby, what do we do?
Something amazing.
I love it. I love it. He's absolutely right. I am amazing. Or did I interpret that in the wrong way? Anyway, we went to Google Fonts, and we looked for fonts first by typing in the text that we want to kind of convert into the font. Then we filtered some fonts out here and chose specific fonts based on categories, something we were looking for. We could also have searched for the fonts that we wanted. And although we didn't use it, this was just the after, is, look for different styles and different widths and slants and such. Didn't really have to go down that road. But we also had changed the font size of those fonts we were looking for. And this beautiful little masterpiece is what we have. In the next video, what are we gonna do, baby? What is left to do? In Module 4, we do
Insert background picture.
background picture.
It's gonna look crazy amazing.
It's gonna be like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
Better
Just know you're
than
in.
Mountains of Christmas Carol
Better than dancing.
script ever could have
in the
been.
rain script.
Yeah, images really make things pop.
For sure.
So
Gives it life.
it gives it life. It breathes life into Mountains of Christmas and Dancing Swift. It makes them be what they need to be. Cool. All right. Thank you for watching.
Sayonara,
And catch you later.
alligator.